Welcome back, my fellow audience. We have a video today, and it's going to be an amazing topic on this podcast. This is going to be an amazing article that we got here, and we got our favorite person on this talk podcast or talk show, whatever you want to guys call this. It's we're out here just having fun. We got our special guest, like our co-host, should I say, Joe. So, what do you think of these topics so far, Joe?
Apple with this magnetic battery pack. I've heard different companies doing something like this. It's a rumor at the moment. And I think didn't Apple had some difficulty in the past with something like this, and so it waited this time, so it's more of a rumor now, right?
Oh yeah. So you want to?
So it's cool because it's going to be if it is this way, your devices will charge itself, like charge each other.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh man, that's going to be an amazing thing.
Which blows my mind about how that works.
Definitely.
Because
it's like Android almost has that, but it's the R type. It's not magnetic. The only thing that's magnetic for the Android market is the new watches that are out, and that's the only thing that we actually have that's magnetic now. I'm correct, because back in the day that they had clips and it started snapping and this and that. I think this is a great development.
Yeah, and I see that it's also it's in the iOS. There's code that was found out in the iOS 14.5 beta, and that's why they've been reported as something that it was there and now it's gone. So it's kind of like an Easter egg. People are thinking that somebody accidentally let it in there before it's time.
Yeah, definitely.
So that'll be a cool feature. But we just have to wait for it though, because Apple wants to release it when it's ready.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see that to be released out. If I could see how the people or the consumers or is going to react to this type of device, because this is like a whole new thing. What do you think it's going to be a good thing, Joe, or do you think it's going to go bad to the market?
Well, I never really knew about it when people have done it before, or at least try to do it. I guess if it works, yeah, it's amazing. Like if it works, then I don't see any problem with it. It's just gonna make their products even more amazing.
Yeah, because
the point is not don't release something if it's not gonna work though, because it's just a horrible experience for everybody to get their hopes up.
Correct. It's like Apple has always released good products. They never really have released a lot of bad things. Like they on the older model of the Mac computers, they used to have magnetic charging. So it's not too much of a difference from then to now. It just probably now it's a lot more better for devices and for phones.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to change I wonder if it's going to change the way it's going to look. That is my question.
Oh yeah, because I don't know how that works.
I don't either too much.
It has to be thinner, or it has to have a different setting, like a different color,
or some kind of or kind of behind it, like a little dongle where you can actually clip it on or something. I'm kind of wondering about that. See how that's going to play out.
Yeah, so maybe more discreet. It's just like one little connector piece or something.
Correct. I'm kind of wondering. They haven't released too much info on that, but
I think it's similar to the other things I've heard before, where you can just you have a charging station, and it actually can charge from a distance, which people then were worried about whether that was safe or not, because it was sending this charge,
Huh.
But it's similar to that, right? But it less distance, but side by side or something.
Yeah, definitely. So
pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, guys. We have our next topic here, which is an awesome topic that Apple has released a new security feature on their M1 chip, and that has not been out in the market that long. So what do you think about this, Joe? Because I'm like, my mind is like blown on this type of security features. And what do you think about this? Do you think it's gonna change the world, or is this gonna be more benefit on Apple, more controlling? What do you think on this?
Well, I think the biggest draw from Apple is security, right? Security and creative works. And they kind of go hand in hand, because if then your creative works are more secure, it's kind of like, copyright and everything else, and you want things to be like tight-lipped until you're ready to, monetize whatever you're creating and everything. And, or, let's say you're working on some project for some company or something, and you want that to be secure and not to be leaked. They go hand in hand, and
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool. Apple couldn't afford to do it before because they had some economic problems in, like, I think was it the 90s,
I think so.
with them and with Microsoft, they had to make some deal. So they had to, like, use some decades to build up their market share of other products, to the point where they can now develop some of these, like, these nodes, these fabs of their own on their own CPUs and stuff. Like, that's expensive to get into the market, So many other companies already left the market because they couldn't compete, and AMD and Intel were the last two, really. And then, there's all the other ones too, like Qualcomm and everything else that aren't talked about as much, that I don't know a lot about. But there's the other ones that, like, the ARM processors and stuff like that. But the point is that, like, Apple's now, like, saying, it's hard just to come in. I don't know how like ARM and other people came in and did it, but they were on smaller scale,
Yeah.
Apple's designing a bigger CPU, with the M1. It's bigger than just like an ARM, processor.
Correct.
So it's a way bigger undertaking to get into the market like that. But again, they could do it because they have such a big portfolio.
Correct.
And
Definitely.
yeah, and they were saying, like, it was because they couldn't control every aspect of their security, and this was one of the last ones they needed, is to be able to control everything about the CPU. And if some of that stuff was controlled by Intel with proprietary or whatever there is technical in there, that Intel wouldn't let Apple manipulate to make it more secure, because it's Intel's, right?
Yep.
Because it's like Intel and Apple, they're just two different chefs that disagree on how to get security done, right?
Yeah.
Apple
Definitely.
Apple wants to do it their way, and now they can't.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Definitely.
you said you've used the Touch ID,
Correct.
the biometric.
Correct. Yep. I use the biometric with my finger. I use the swipe features. I've used the pin. I use all that on my phone.
And surprisingly, before they added some features like that, like 49% of the people only use the passcodes on their phone. So, like, half the people basically didn't lock their phones.
Correct.
And so when Apple increased more security things, like, oh, hey, you could use your fingerprint, or you could do this, people actually have more secured phones because they weren't using what Apple gave them in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's kind of it's cool that Apple has some things in the background that protect you, and then they have some things that they encourage you to activate more things, and now they're just doing it a little bit more with making sure that there's no, like, because there was for Intel and AMD, I think it was called Scepter or some other, I can't remember the term right now, but there was like 2-3 years ago, there were some major security problems for Intel and AMD CPUs. Yeah. It's called like Scepter Meltdown, or like Spectre Meltdown or something. And they had to, like, go into their coding and the CPUs, and, like, they had to actually make their CPUs perform slower to have more security, because there were that many big gaps in their security measures. And so Apple didn't like that at all when that happened, right? That people found out that there's way too many. Like, Apple goes out and they, like, pay people like 1.5 million for a certain to make sure when you find that there's some way to, like, hack their system, and you tell them without, like, exploiting other people, they pay a bounty basically to like make, to good-willed people,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
and they didn't like it that it was way beyond just like the typical like 1.5 million that you would shell out for like some security issues, right? It was more like something that you would like pay somebody probably like 100 million or something because it was like that big of a security breach. So Apple with their brand, they can't afford to let AMD or Intel control that anymore. It damaged their brand some.
Yep. Well, I do have a question for you, Joe, because
Sure.
I know that we brought this up in the last time. Would you use biometric scans for your finger? Would you?
No. I have, I lock my phone. I have a pin on it, right?
Huh?
There are some times where I did, like when I, with this global problem where I'm at home all the time, I took the password off because I knew I wasn't like bringing the phone out a lot. I was keeping it at home and then I would go out without the phone sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think personally the pin is enough. I'd like to show me like how bad just using the pin is. Like I want Apple to show us like statistics about how many phones are locked into, like accessed when they just have a pin versus the biometrics. And that would maybe like push me over the edge to say, oh, look, your phone could be 33% less likely, because this is, I need some data. You know what I mean? I'm not just going to willingly give over my biometrics without seeing how much I'm giving up. So that's just me with my personal stuff. Like, oh, did I tell you though about biometrics? How I'm a mixed bag. I actually don't mind. I don't mind giving away my data if it benefits me, like for 23andMe. You know what that is?
I'll explain.
So 23andMe, I gave them, I believe it was saliva. I gave them my DNA. So it's like basically the biometric fingerprint. I gave them my DNA.
You. They're cloning you, man. Now, man, now we're gonna have like 10,000 Joes coming out.
I gave them my DNA so they can analyze it and see what genes are like malignant. Like they're like, oh, you're coded for male baldness pattern, because of these gene markers and stuff. So I was free to do stuff like that, but like fingerprints, okay. The reason why I didn't do fingerprints is because fingerprints are like the whole thing about like, like forged fingerprints, Yep. I don't like the idea that my fingerprints are out there and someone could like try to like reconstruct them and say I was somewhere where I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like put down like fake fingerprints of who I am. I don't know if that's possible, but that's like always been one paranoid thing of mine. Think that's true?
No,
that's like
I don't think so.
Not really likely. Not likely.
No.
You don't think like the government or some agency could put down some fake prints and say, "Hey, this person was at this scene of the crime or whatever."
I haven't.
Like, let's frame them.
You know what? You want me to try it? I could try to get my fingerprint and start duplicating it everywhere, see if it works. Run into an ATM and see, or somewhere that uses biometric and try to use my fingerprint on it.
Yeah, I'm just curious if anybody's ever been, if anybody on any like any, well, I don't want to say the words, but if you at any court systems claim that they were framed with false fingerprints and stuff.
I know people were framed for a lot of other things, but never heard of this one.
Well, you having like false biometrics or something.
I've never heard of that yet. Like I said, yet.
And that's just my paranoia, right?
It could be just a paranoia thing, man. But I'm not gonna hold you to it, man, because this 21st century thing, man, it's coming. It's a lot of things changing in this world.
Well, and the Face ID unlock system, that stuff is already in there for, I believe, when I got my driver's license for Real ID. I believe they're using a lot more tracking software to scan your face.
Correct. Oh, also too, I'm not sure if you knew this. If you, I don't know if you remember the Face app. Remember?
Yeah.
It'll make you old. Did you use that app or not?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
Are
well,
you referring to like beards or no?
yeah, beards, no beards, with the face changing, make you look older, make you do this, do that. I don't know if you remember that app. Now, a
Yeah.
lot of people, it went viral a few months. I think we covered it on our podcast. That it was made in Russia. It was stealing our faces and using it for AI learning. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, no, I thought you were gonna make the point that like beards like give the facial recognition software a run for their money. That it's harder for them to map a beard than it is to map a clean face.
I was going to say is that they use that to actually map your face in Russia, and several other companies have done that to actually build AI, to actually build how your facial, they could reconstruct faces, they can make numerous faces just out of people's, out of the, shapes, the nose positions and all that stuff. So imagine you already got your face copied on some server, Joe. Just because you use that app for a beard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. We got to think about that. Your face is everywhere all over the internet now, probably. So I try to be mean, but yeah, it's out there already. It's like, I use a face app too. My face is blown up all over the world. It's all over the world. You should see I've used my face everywhere for so many apps. I see somebody try it. Hey man, it's like, let me try it. Let me download it. I'm the idiot. I'm the guinea pig for all you guys out here. All over the people that are listening to the podcast. I am the guinea pig for you guys to show y'all, to make sure y'all know that this stuff is actually happening out there for you.
Yeah.
So
there might be somebody on Facebook who uses your face and pretends to friend you or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's happened, not to me, but a couple of friends that they grab photos.
Oh yeah, I've actually had that happen. Yeah.
And they just start asking you questions, and they start, I'm surprised that they have not done this yet. They create a fake Facebook of you, and they send you a request. They add you as a friend. That would be a plot twist.
They actually, I mean, I was a fool. I actually fell for that once.
Really?
Like for a minute. Like I don't know why. Like I'm not sure if I friended them for a second or something. Then they started talking to me. I'm like, wait a second, wasn't I already a friend with that person? Why am I friending them again? Right? I'm serious. They caught me. And then what happened was, the way I recognized it was fake or whatever, they were like offering me like an opportunity. They're like, oh, we have a scholarship opportunity for you, Oh. So they were, so it was just like, this person's not out of the blue offering me something like this. What do they do? I know this person would never do this.
Yeah.
So like, but I was fooled for a second. I accidentally like added them, and then I deleted them as quickly as I could.
Yeah. Joe almost fell for something.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they ever got any data, but like I said, I use like some random passwords and stuff, so I make sure like I'm secure as possible.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be secured, and just little things like that, like even earlier today, Roxy clicked on a link, and I told her don't click on it. It's their text messages, and you get random links, and then sometimes you get your identity stolen from these links by click on it. Oh, Cash App just sent me some money. Like, hey, wait. Why is Cash App sending you money? You didn't apply for anything. Why are you clicking that link? I've told numerous people do not.
Yeah, I think
click links.
That's called phishing, maybe.
Correct. That's part of phishing. But they tried.
There's another way to do it.
There's another term for it because they send you a text message, and they say, "Hey, you have a UPS package," or "Hey, you got money coming into your bank account. Click this link, and we'll show you a tracking number or how much you're getting. Click this link." Well, when you click that link, like 10,000 things get downloaded to your phone at times.
So I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I just want to tell people this. LastPass. If you Google that, LastPass, it's a free software. They have paid versions where you can put it on multiple devices, like on your phone, on your computer.
Correct.
So that's actually convenient. For me, it's not convenient. I can only do it on my one computer because I do the free version. But if you were actually like somebody who actually had the money to pay for it, it's really useful because you could have random passwords. Like all your passwords through LastPassword, you have like a master password to access your account, and you write that down, right? Or whatever.
Correct.
On your And that gets you into the whole system. But then you make a random password for every single account you have, like your email account, your YouTube, your Facebook, whatever. And then you have two-factor authorization on every single account that you can do that on. But then you have this random password that could be 12 to 20 characters or more. They can go up to 99 characters if the platform supports 99 characters. And some platforms have supported like 50 characters for me or some crazy number. But then I just got sick of like getting a message saying like, we don't support that many characters. So then I just like sometimes like cut it at like 12 or 20 or whatever, right? But it's random and you can do like numbers. Some places don't take symbols, but it's amazing because every single account I have has a different random password, and the likelihood that people were able to get into every single one of my accounts is just crazy. So I'll be able to deal with security threats one by one as they come, if they ever came.
You just got to be careful when you use that. You actually, when you click on it, it actually, if you go into a fake website, if you don't look at the browser at the very top, and if you it takes you to the that, and it can actually steal all your information. If you hit, put in this information into that username and password, and you just gave your information away. So you got to be careful with that too, Joe.
Oh, you're saying if they made it look like exactly like the same website?
Yeah, that's phishing.
And if LastPass, I'm not sure if that's some test that somebody should be able to should do, if whether LastPass gets fooled, or whether LastPass recognizes it's not the website and doesn't.
You could also.
I don't think it does though. I don't think it puts the password and the username and the password in to a site that it doesn't. It's not legitimate. I'm not sure.
You could also do is click on the link at the bottom, and then once you click on that, you click on it, takes you straight to the website, straight to sign in. It signs you in automatically. I remember using that one time because I used to use it.
What is it?
When you LastPass, when you go on there, you save the browser, save the login area. You click on it, and it takes you straight to the sign in page and signs you in and logs you in automatically instead of going to the page manually.
Yeah,
you do it through this here. You go through the LastPass. That's another way to sign in.
No, I see what you're saying. Like that might be more secure, maybe.
Correct.
One of our viewers, Zopaz, says he uses Google Keeps. I've never heard about that before.
Yes, I've heard about that, but I don't trust. I don't trust. Yeah, I don't trust much on Google because they're like one of the factors of getting hacked. No.
Yeah, it's a note-taking service. It's free, web-based, Google Doc editor. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drawings. Yeah. Interesting. So it's basically like it's kind of like Google Drive.
Yeah, definitely.
But like more for like notes and stuff.
So what he does is actually what Zop XZ or Zopex, whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know how you say your name, but it looks like it's like he keeps track of his the website link, the username and password in there, and that's what he looks like he does.
Yeah. The thing is though, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's any. That might be the same thing, right? Because there's one master password to get into LastPass. So if they get the master password, they get into everything else.
Correct.
But they have to know. They have to know what the LastPass man. I don't even know. I have to go back to the LastPass to see if it's a username or it's an email, and then whether what they tell you to do is like write that password down.
Correct. And I actually got my what's that thing called? My LastPass account. Somehow something happened to my LastPass account. I could not log in, even with my master key. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's when they changed the settings or what.
It's really weird actually. I think I might be wrong, but I thought that one time I couldn't find my master password, and I had them send me my master password through my email.
Interesting.
Which I couldn't get mine which might be a flaw then. You know what I mean? But at the same time though, if you have two-factor authorization for your email, then it's a little bit less likely. You know what I mean? But you have to imagine if you couldn't get into your LastPass and then you have all these different websites and then you have to have them send it all to your email and then remake new passwords and stuff and make a new. It's not that big of a deal.
It's probably they just keep track of your main password, the master one, not your individual account.
Who? LastPass?
LastPass.
Well, they keep track of all of it, but I'm not really sure. Like, oh man, I got. If somebody knows more about LastPass, let us know about it. But
I think they just kept track of your master key, so in case you forget it, they could call tech support and they could send it to you. I think that's the main key.
Every website I go to, it says, "Do you want to save the username?"
No.
And
Yes. It's just that the master key is the key to unlock your account.
Yeah,
it's like the key, the main key. So
no, I get it. So what do you mean by that? Like
because I think you were saying, correct me if I'm wrong, you were saying that if you have to go to the other accounts,
your email.
Yeah, for every single account that you have on profile. Right? Is that what you're saying?
That you had to if you got locked out of your master password, like your master password, you have to make a new account and then do everything. Yeah, then you have to do the prove who I am to every single account to go back to your email or whatever.
Correct, for every single account,
cell phone,
if you can remember. Yes, yes.
SMS.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure if I understood it correctly.
Which is good though. I'm glad that you can do like SMS and email to make a new password if LastPass. The point is LastPass with making the random generator, even if they did get hacked or something, right? Or you got hacked or whatever, that's still a lot of data, right? Like it takes a lot of time to have to go to all those different websites and to put these random passwords in there. Yeah. It is more secure than what you can do on your own. And because they do random, you can use a random generator, and you can keep it on Google Keeps or whatnot. But the thing is, though, the reason why it's cool to have LastPass is because then you have like a master code, right? That it's built into your browser, right? So it does this for you, and so you don't have to go back to Google Keeps and copy and paste every single time you go into a website. It like speeds up the process.
Also, too, that
kind of gets tedious to do Google Meets,
See, but here's a question, Joe. Can you integrate? Can you actually integrate LastPass to your biometrics or your PIN?
Interesting.
The Apple.
I don't know. I wonder if it's like
an integration feature.
If there's something that they might do in the future, or they just something that I don't know about, so I could look into that.
Yeah, that is something interesting, because like since the topic is about a lot of it about that security thing, if it's something interesting, if it does work, I would recommend it even more to our viewers. Like, hey, look at this. There's another security. You could actually have this. You have master key. You have your master key, and then you actually have your biometrics. That'll be pretty dope.
No, that would be the ultimate master password, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And this one website says you can support Log Me In Incorporated. So I'm wondering if that if people go look it up, I think it's possible.
I'll take a look.
LastPass password manager,
yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
That is pretty dope.
Look into it. Make sure you're safe, guys. And then when you think it's safe and everything, that is pretty sweet. That is okay. That is something that might get me into the biometrics. You hooked me there.
I get people hooked on things.
He brought me into the, oh my gosh. Give it all away. Give it all away and reel it in.
I've been 13 years in IT, man. 13 years. And I know how many passwords you could have in IT. So, man, it's so crazy out there in this world. Okay, going on to the next topic. We have, forget the 5G. Apple's ready working on their 6G, which does not even exist yet. So what do you think about this, Joe? About the 6G? 5G has not even been fully implemented yet. So why do you think they're working on the 6G?
If you're not 2 steps ahead of your competition, you're already losing. And so you have to plan ahead. And it keeps it keeps Apple like ambitious. It keeps them alive. Like they've already developed like the 5G, right? And they're like now all they have to do is like the boring step of like bringing it out to the people and everything, right? It's exciting to see people how they react to it and what they can do with it, but pushing the limits and going to the next thing, we haven't yet like hit the wall of these advancements. And what they're claiming that 6G might be, or what people are speculating what 6G might be, is pretty amazing. They're talking about like potentially like 100 times speeds, and I don't even know how that is possible. That's pretty astronomical, you know. To say like,
I'm surprised.
We're talking about like so depending on what kind of like wireless networks, but it could be 100 times faster. You know, what was that one? It was the THZ spectrum range.
Yeah, the terahertz spectrum range.
Yeah.
That. Oh man. That's
really big.
The terahertz. That's a big number. I'm not gonna go there, guys. If you want to look it up, be my guest. But I'm not looking it up. That's too big a number. Probably bigger than this screen that we have right now. The boxed in. That me and Joe are boxed in.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it is it goes lower latency than 5G, improved spectrum sharing efficiency, and is faster. So there's some crazy things that they're talking about that it's possible with this. There's some about like Samsung's predicting that it could be as early as 2028. It could be extended reality, high fidelity mobile holograms, digital replicas, machines exceeding the current human expectations. Stuff that I can't even like fully like
comprehend.
Yeah, I need to see it, you know?
Oh man. I'm telling you,
like
20 by 20.
Like what is extended reality, you know?
That's what
we have VR. Everybody.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be more into the VR world, and that's going to be an amazing jump.
You know what that is? It's have you heard that where it can get kind of that's the whole extended reality. It can get kind of interesting. You know, where people are they're having like these body sensor suits.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, they're like, hey, I put my hand on your shoulder, and they can feel it.
Yep.
So they're playing around with stuff like that. That's like the extended reality, and I guess I didn't really.
If you think about it, we have like if you go to the movies, you got 4D, 5D's coming out in the next few years. 5D, which is more into reality.
What is, gosh, 5D? I don't even know what 5D would be.
I don't know how much they got into 5D. I've just heard 4D when they spray water at you, go pss, pss, and they actually what else do they do? The chairs move side to side. Have you ever been to a movie 4D, Joe?
No.
Joe, you got to go to a 4D movie, man. If we're going to 5G. We're gonna go to 6G. We're gonna have 3-dimensional holograms spinning around, and you can't even do 4D when the chairs move side to side and sprays water at you, and sprays a fragrance in your face.
Oh no, never mind. Okay, I did have one experience. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, we went to Florida. We were in what was it? Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And there was this Shrek exhibit where you go in and you're on like a ride. You sit down on a ride, and they did spray stuff at us.
Okay, there you go. That's 4D.
I guess I didn't even know that was 4D.
Yeah, because it's like a movie in the screen in the front, and everything is just like moving side to side, spraying you, and you're like, "What the freak?" You're like just freaking out because things are just coming at you, and it looks so real.
You're like, for me, I didn't even know that was going to be a part of it. So like, they just spray water at me. What? It's scented or it tastes like something. Or...
And you're like, "What the heck was that?"
Did I consent? Did I consent to this? I don't remember saying I was okay. Said spray something at me.
See, you imagine that's going to be implemented into the 6G when they're saying probably reality extender. The reality extender is probably the reason if they're saying that. It's probably going to be some kind of feature like that. Who knows?
Yeah, so it's like, oh my gosh,
Who
smell,
knows? Yeah.
touch like the VR touch, and then oh, I had thought about that. I would like, I almost got into VR a few weeks ago when my friend was getting into VR. He was like showing me how cool it is with like saber beats and stuff. You know, where you like swing your arms around and you do like
Oh
it's
my
basically like a
god.
Dance Revolution, but with your arms.
Yes.
So I almost got into VR, and then I lowered the temperature down, and I didn't do it. But the one thing that I would like to see is where if you could wear a suit that's not too heavy, where if you're playing like a first person shooter and you feel something like paintball.
I set that one day back in 2010. I told my friend, "You know what? Let's develop a game that does that." And he's like, "Dude, are you insane? Are you really that insane to develop something that you could, if somebody shoots you, you feel the pain, you feel the impact, like if you actually got shot, you know what that's going to do to the mind?" I'm like, "No." And I'm like, it's going to happen one of these days, but I want you to be the first person to do it.
Oh, do you know the warning that people are saying about it, about VR?
What?
I haven't looked into this a ton, but I've heard that they're saying that it only should be for certain age groups, because before a certain age, this could mess with your development. Like it does
Could be.
things to the brain. Like your
Could
brain
be.
needs like different spatial like indicators, and this like isn't reality. So it's like training, and we haven't even know about like long term studies about adults, what it does to you.
Correct.
So
Yeah, we have
it's
no
exciting, but
long-term-
at the same time, they're like how are they going to be like recommendations like only use this 1 hour a day after like a 10-year study?
Are people going to listen to that? I don't think so.
No, but
So that's going to be crazy thinking about that.
it'll be like the new like nicotine thing or something, you know. It'd be like,
Oh my god.
you know, it'd be like the new, we're gonna put a label, a warning on VR that this potentially could happen.
Oh man. Just thinking about that. Well, going back to the 6G, do you think there's going to be any other new features going to be added into it, like flying cars integration, flying drones, packaging, refrigerator deliveries, or AI
Well,
integration?
if it's up to, I don't know how they do that, but if it's up to 100 times faster somehow, yeah, like anything's possible with 100 times faster. Like I wouldn't say anything is impossible.
I am kind of curious, Joe. Very curious because I've read an article. I was supposed to cover this article weeks back about quantum bits.
Mhm.
Quantum bits are wireless transmission of bits at quantum level. They finally done a breakthrough on quantum leaps data, transmitting my data to your data within seconds, faster than
Mhm.
faster than the quantum bits are faster than what we have currently right now. Transferring data from one area to the next in an instant. I'm wondering if this might be it.
Instant transmission.
Correct. I'm wondering if that might be if this is what 6G is going to be. And is this going to be the final breakthrough of the final on how, the fastest thing we could get out there in the world?
With this, I wonder how this translates to like outer space. Is it possible to?
I don't
Is
know.
this stuff not possible like only on like the micro level? You know.
I don't know too much about it. I don't know if this is actually the quantum area, the transfer rate for quantum. I'm not sure because it's supposed to be able to transfer at. I know they've done studies just here on Earth. They haven't done nothing in space. Space works. Space is kind of different in Earth because of gravity and stuff.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering if this had any application to like get like instant transmission from like Mars. Like how did I don't know, just what
And you,
I'm dreaming about like how they're gonna like if they ever extrapolate something.
and you also got to remember, space is not set in stone in one area.
Yeah.
We're in the Milky Way galaxy on the far outside. We're revolving, and also we're not in the same spot as we were 5 seconds ago. Because you got to
Makes
remember how
connectivity
fast
really hard.
it's how are we gonna how is this data gonna come back to us in our location? How is it gonna detect it to transmit back to us
So it's
in the next
basically
few seconds?
you can, I guess you have to wait until it's kind of like what's was it Starlink is doing with like the satellites,
I
right?
think that's what's
You
gonna
basically have to
happen.
put like a bunch of satellites on the planet that you're sending information from, so that you can send it to any one of those satellites at any given time.
Like a bridge.
Yeah, and it'll transmit from one satellite to other satellite till it gets to the point where it can actually send it to Earth.
Correct.
And that's like the fastest way you can do it. Otherwise, you have to wait till it rotates and perfectly aligns with the other rotation of the other planet.
And so that means we gotta invade every single planet and put in thousands of
Yeah.
satellites.
I don't know how much. Yeah, it would be interesting to know how many satellites you have to do to make that like cost effective. Can you
I
put
wonder
like
too.
100, 1,000? How many do you have? How far apart?
And what
But
about
that's-
especially
Gosh, can you imagine that though? It like totally takes the fun out of like Star Trek. It's like every planet has to have like this orbital system of satellites in order to, send information. And it might be, I don't know. Gosh, it makes me want to look into articles about how fast communication, what's the fastest we can transmit it currently in space. Public knowledge.
that one?
Maybe
I
there's
don't know
something.
nothing about.
Maybe there's something they don't talk about. They can transmit faster. They're not telling us.
I know that the government, they have faster internet than what we do. They have like
Yeah.
petabyte, zettabyte. I know they have like that incredible speeds of internet. They click on something and they just boom, they already have it.
We're still fighting. We're still fighting over like 10 megabytes up and stuff, and they're like,
yeah, we're still finding there, and
like, hey,
we can't
Google
get nothing bigger.
Google Fiber is like, hey guys, that's like a little toy thing, right?
yeah, it's like just barely scratching the surface, And
It's all about like resources. Like, are you worth the bandwidth?
yeah, definitely.
I'm not worth it.
Yeah, it's only them. It's only them. Well, we are going to our next interesting topic, Joe. We have this whole new Windows 10 21H2 update. It's coming in winter 2021. It's some of these features have been released in this previous version, not this version, but the previous one, the one that we're currently on. And so, what do you think about all these features on this 21H2 update coming winter 21? What do you think of all these features so far? Like, without looking at the article, with all that stuff, what do you think about like all these updates are coming up?
Well, I think it's cool, and I think that Microsoft really owed it to us, because I think that, again, I've complained about some of the changes they've done. Right, I've harped on this over and over again. I don't like the new I don't like the new troubleshooting. The AI keeps spinning its wheels trying to have a conversation with me, where the old AI, whatever they used, didn't have a conversation with me and solve my problem within like 1 minute of troubleshooting, right? Like, it was mostly audio problems, like I actually had something muted, or I had something, plugged in as some other like default device, and Windows would also change it it would reset everything within 30 seconds, and I'd have my audio back. But now it wants to have a conversation for like 5 minutes, and it says, hey, did I fix it? And I'm like, no. How about now? No, you didn't fix it. It's like, oh my gosh, why did they do this system that doesn't work? And it keeps asking me questions. And so, what's cool about this is there's a whole bunch of features that are coming out that I didn't even know existed. And Microsoft's trying to do a better job of actually showing you when the updates happen, like a more concise grouping of like what actually this update is, to show you, like, because right now they just like kind of like buried everything. It's all like this, like it's kind of like if you ever play like a game like League of Legends, there's like all these patch notes, and it shows you like, oh, this has been updated, whatever, blah 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 blah. Right now they're trying to really like make it glossy, I guess, and like show you exactly what you can do.
Yeah.
They needed more marketing.
Yeah, definitely. So
You
let's
know?
go ahead and get into some of the features, Joe.
Sure.
So like the feature, number one feature is weather and news on the taskbar. Do you think that's gonna benefit people? Because I think it might be good because it instead of us actually going to like weather.com, or Weather Underground, our individual apps on our phones, looking at it, we have it right directly on their device. So what do you think of this in your opinion? Would you think you use it as well or not?
Well, I'm actually looking at it right now. I clicked on Windows and I see it there. It spins, it spins like a cube. It spins up and down, and it shows me the temperature in my area. And then it can show me like a 2 or 3 day forecast. I personally like the details that I can see on Google, like it shows me the high and the low, right?
Uh-huh.
And it says like, okay, cloudy, right? For the next 3 days. But I do like to see, like, I don't know. If I'm looking at the weather, I want to know more information because I'm just so quizzical. I want to know what the wind, like the wind mile per hour, and like when I just type in like my city and then the temperature, like TEMP, I can get
Yeah.
so much information. So it's not enough information for me, but I'm not against it though because somebody might not really know about Google ability to be able to show you temperature, you know? And so this might cater to a group of people who aren't that tech savvy and want to know the weather.
Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
right there. And that's all they need to know is the high and the low. And whether it's gonna be cloudy or sunny.
Yep, definitely.
So I'm not against it. It's cool, but it's not for me.
Yeah, definitely. And
I'll always be
our
using
next
Google.
definitely. And the next thing we're covering is the DNS over HTTPS and the DNS
Yeah.
configuration in the system in the settings app. What do you think about this encryption? Do you know anything about DNS?
No, not really.
It's
Can
a
you explain
dynamic
some?
name. It's a dynamic name. I forgot what that S was. Service. It's a domain name service. It converts IP to names and stuff like that over secure things, over a secure browser. And that's pretty much it. But I don't know too much about this feature. It's system wide for all Windows applications. In the current version of Windows 10, only a few web browsers like the Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Firefox support this. Once system-wide support is finished, all Windows applications will get the benefit of DOH without any modifications. So that's not too bad, man. It's actually a pretty good feature that it's gonna have now. A lot more applications are gonna be more secure on it.
No, it's definitely something I'm gonna look into because I do always want more security, and I don't like I'm against people who try to like steal my information on the internet. So I'm gonna look into this. So it's something that you can do on your own system, the level of encryption.
It's a automatic system on it on the browsers.
So this is happening without you having to go in and do anything.
Correct. That's what it stated
Oh,
here.
but you have to enable
Uh,
it.
I think so. I think you have to go in there to prefer DNS 1.1, whatever it is, and then select encrypted only DNS. I gotta check it.
Okay.
I gotta check see if
Yeah,
I
it,
could
it, it
enable
has
that.
options where you can do only encrypted, non-encrypted, or preferred. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that. See if there's any applications that I'd like to use that.
yeah. I think once you enable that, it enables it for everything. If I'm correct,
Yeah.
I have to look into this further. Right now, I don't want
Well,
to do
look,
it because I don't want to mess up my connection with this whole stream.
but yeah, it sounds really cool. It sounds like Microsoft's giving us more options here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is more secure features, and also to the next feature is the startup app notifications. What do you think? Do you think that's going to be a good thing, Joe? Like, are we going to we're going to be getting notified for our startup apps? What do you? Is this a good or bad thing, Joe?
I think it's good for those who don't know about it because then it allows things always popping up, and I don't know how to get rid of it. And
Uh huh.
some other people are able to dig deeper and like, oh yeah, if you do Control Alt Delete, you get your task manager up, and then you go in, you find out where you can turn off whether apps start up or not. But some people aren't, they don't know about control delete, or they just don't want to they don't want to dig in. And so, yeah, I'm not opposed to this. I just, I think if they allow you to, turn off this feature, then it's totally cool.
Yeah, just give you a heads
maybe
up.
If I just click those 3 dots, maybe I can turn this update feature off, and I can just use Control Delete.
Correct. And also, guys, just give you a heads up, if you want to actually turn off startup applications, according to our instructions, is you go to Settings, Apps, and Startup, and you'll see in there you'll see all your startup applications. Just let me repeat that again to you guys. You right click on the Start menu on the far left on the bottom, click Settings. Yeah, once you click on Settings, you'll actually pop up in the Settings tab. Then you click on Apps, and then you have all your and then click on the left side under the apps, under the Find a Settings. You click on Startup, and then there you go, guys. You have all your startup applications there. You could, if they're blue, they're on. If they're white, they're off. I'll just give you a heads up, guys.
Yeah, I currently have all mine off except for Windows security notification icon. Which ones would you recommend keeping on?
Well, it depends on person to person.
Are there any for security that you want to keep on? Like, let's say you have a Norton security, you want to keep that as a startup or something, or in case your kid goes on the computer when
Yeah, you can. It's all up to. It's just depending on what applications. You have to find what's the best for the computer, because everybody's computer is built differently. Like me, I use Cortana a lot. I use Ear Trumpet. I use Program. I don't know what Program is. Scan to PC activation app. I could probably turn that off because I don't need it. I could turn off Skype because I really don't need Skype to be turning on. Every single time. But that's all I would recommend. And everybody's, like I said, everybody's computer is different. Some people might want to use Adobe Reader. Some people have Photoshop. Some people have certain applications they need to be running all the time. I've been doing IT for 13 years. I've seen numerous types of apps that need to be running in the background. You got to be careful what you turn off, because if you turn off something shouldn't be turned off, you're going to have issues on your application that you use.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know what's being turned off. I mean, like I said, I've been doing IT for 13 years, and I've made mistakes.
Yeah, so I don't know, Renee. I'm treading on thin ice. I have everything turned off on my startup.
Well, if you're not having issues, then you're good. That's the one thing. That's the one thing you got to remember. You got issues.
I get sick of you see like 1 or 2 things, and you're like, you just don't get around to doing it. Yeah, and then eventually you turn it off on your startup, and you're like, okay, yeah, now we're back to a good. It's clean.
And hold on real quick, and we got Zopax here. He stated and on Windows and only VPN.
I'm wondering if there's some startup for VPN.
I'm pretty sure, or
I know some browsers do VPN, or if he has like a software that's VPN.
He's also probably could be talking about the DNS, changing the DNS to a VPN server and rerouting it.
Oh yeah,
that too. So that's a pretty good idea. Not too bad. But let's go on to the next topic, Joe. We have a redesigned emoji picker. I know you were explaining to me this a little while ago. The emoji picker. You were like so excited. Come on, Joe, tell us more about this.
Well, I was like, dude, it's on the computer. Like, this is stuff that I see for like vidIQ. That when you download vidIQ and install it on your browser, you can use this on YouTube. You can use all these emojis. But now you can use these emojis in whatever other format you want to use them. If you want to use them in probably emails or something, I want to test this out. If you want to use them in emails or you want to use them in other things, so what you do is you click your Windows button, and then you hold it down, and you hold down the period button, and then this emoji bar pops up, and it's got so many different emojis. It's got people's faces, it's got characters, and so many things like vehicles and symbols and food, and you can even, it has a search bar, you can search for things. And then Renee, we found out, what was the difference between you and me?
Well, on my computer, I could actually see that option like on the like actually if I click on the like a empty like a box for like if I'm typing and I click on that and I could actually show I could when I click on it I could actually see all the messages all like the little emoji icons. And when I click on the emoji icons, I could click each one and I could see all my all whatever I'm clicking on. But Joe cannot see his. He clicks on it and it doesn't.
Well, and it was actually for like it was for StreamYard, right? For StreamYard, I'd had to close the emoji box and then I could see and it pops up. But as we're talking, I just put this into my web browser URL, and when I click once, it pops up. So it just for some reason, I have no idea, maybe because I have 3 monitors up or something, but there was something going on where only when I closed it and then I saw like, oh my gosh, I have like 30 emojis that I put in there. But it's cool. It's awesome. You can put them into your I'm gonna try that while we're talking about see if I can. I'm gonna start writing an email and I'm gonna see if I can put these emojis into an email. But it's gosh, I gotta show my dad this too because that'll be just so much. It's so much color to your messages, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can use this in Discord, and I mean Discord already has some, but like this is maybe there's some in here that aren't using Discord.
Correct, definitely. Also, so the next thing is now you can actually paste as plain text in clipboard history. What do you think that's a good idea, Joe, or not?
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Sorry, I was able to put it in my email, so that's pretty cool, guys. You can put it in your email.
Oh, that's cool.
Go on.
Paste as plain text in clipboard history. I've never used the clipboard history. Have you?
The clipboard history, like sometimes you copy something to clipboard. Like usually it's for me, it's like passwords or it's like URLs. Like it's like a YouTube video, a URL. I don't know how to do it. In the way they're doing it here though.
I just looked into my clipboard history and it was off. You hit the Windows button. You hit the Windows button.
How did you access the clipboard? Yeah, where?
You hit the Windows button and the letter V as in Victor at the same time, and the clip it pops up. Clipboard history.
Wow. So is that basically like my copy and paste?
Yeah.
I'm wondering anything I've like copied.
Yeah, definitely.
And like all my screenshots that I've used like snipping tool.
Interesting.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, no, you can go in there. You can see like everything. Like, okay, so it shows you 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 5. Maybe it's based on if you turn your computer off and on again, you can only store like if you turn it off and on again, it resets it, or maybe it has a maximum of 5.
Maybe.
But guys, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, next one is we got the Windows voice typing replaces Windows dictation. Do you think you would use that, Joe? Because I really don't think I would. I don't trust much of voice typing because of all the errors that still are out there.
I've always wanted to something like this, you know, for like subtitles and what's it called? Oh, can't think of the moment. You know, if you're trying to like teleprompter kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it out. So, what is the one you have to do? You do Windows plus H. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm right now as I'm talking, I can see it typing for me in the URL. And it's so far been 100% accurate.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it's really good now.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
So
maybe we could do our captions now on YouTube here using this program while we're actually podcasting next time.
Yeah, so instead of paving what is it? I can't remember the name right now. Rev.com or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still have to time it and everything. But it's really cool though, because it's, you know, basically, wow, it's actually really good. Because usually it was really hard to find this. You had to go into like Google Docs to find, you know, voice to text. And it wasn't the best because you know what it did? It actually shut off after a certain time. And I'll have to test it after the podcast, but I think this one just keeps going. I think it doesn't stop.
Interesting.
You know, Renee? I think the other one, the problem is it was like after like, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds or something, it would just stop because you stop talking. And this one is like smart enough, or it's on your own system. It's not on Google system, right? So it's not like taking up Google bandwidth. So it's your own bandwidth of your computer, right? So it shouldn't have a limit. It shouldn't have a statute of limitations. You should be able to like not talk for like 2 minutes as you're thinking about an idea and then begin talking again. And it starts, you know, basically it's to make it so everybody can write their own books.
Correct.
Period.
And that's a brilliant idea, guys.
And it actually did that. When I said period, it made a period.
Really?
At first, it wrote the word out and then it turned it into the period.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, let's go on to the next one. Is we have storage health monitoring. What do you think that's a great feature, Joe? Because I think that is a brilliant idea for the storage device, and it lets you know about the risk failures, and it requires attention. You know, it does all that. What do you think on that, Joe?
I think it's cool. I guess, I don't know. I have to play with it more, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, why not, right? Why not have more information? Maybe it might be a marketing thing for some people, thinking like you got to upgrade or whatever, but for other people, it might actually, if they actually know what they're actually seeing, it might actually be like a helpful warning.
Yeah, like a hardware failure or memory failure coming in the future or something like that could be happening, or an error, some kind of error. Who knows what kind of error?
Yeah, you know what I would like more though, and maybe you know more about this. If you go into like your computer and you're trying to figure out like which files you want to delete because like your computer's overrun and doesn't have much files left, like my file space doesn't have much space.
Yeah.
When I go into local disk and I see all the different files, it doesn't say how big the file size are.
Interesting.
And so for me personally, it would be more beneficial if Microsoft would make it easier for noobs to see how big their file sizes are and figure out which ones they want to delete and everything, than to show me whether my disk drive is about to fail or something. Which I understand. Well, I understand that's super important for people, like if they have really important information like family photos or security or something, but I need to know what my 500 gigabyte drive is running out of space and I can delete a lot of stuff, but I need to know where it is.
Correct. And besides that, going to the next one real quick, we actually have a disk management settings. What do you think of that, Joe? I think this is a whole brand new feature, new layout. Oh, what do you think of that?
I guess I don't. I don't know. I guess I don't understand it actually. Sorry.
Oh man, it's cool, man. Because I had to use this several times just to find out information about the hard disk management, and because just to find out information about the disk space, all that stuff that you need. And what else does it tell you? Storage and then manage.
Oh yeah, I did open it once before, but I wasn't able to access everything that they were trying to tell me, all the new information. They said to like right click on something, and I wasn't able to get to the category of information they were trying to tell us.
Yeah, they're trying to tell us you can't access it at the moment, but you could actually see local disk.
Later.
Yeah, this one's probably going to be in the future updates. Right now, you could see where all your memories going to, your videos, your system, apps and features, temporary files. This almost reminds me of the Android phone, what it's been using.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could actually see that on the Android phone. I think it's going to be a great feature in the future. Well, going on to the next thing is dark mode and history for Windows search. I know you love the dark mode because you made a video recently about dark mode. So what do you think about this option with the dark mode and history for the Windows search?
I think it's it's desperately needed because I have dark mode enabled on Windows right now, and as I go through the search bar, it's all white, right? So that defeats the whole purpose of dark mode because either you like it because of the aesthetics, or I use it because I want dark mode to be easy on the eyes late at night. I don't want all that white light bombarding me. I want it to be dark. Like I like dark mode on YouTube. I like it, I wanted to be able to not have my eyes bombarded by white.
Correct.
And it didn't make sense that they never had that. It's just kind of like I would consider it kind of like a bug that they didn't something they didn't. It was like a blind spot.
Well, now they actually added it for you specifically. I guess they probably heard you cry out there in the thing is like, I need dark mode enabled for this. They heard you and they're like, let's do it for that guy. Click.
So I'll be the first to update my computer for that.
Okay, next we have a file skill for Cortana. What do you think about that, Joe?
I don't use Cortana, partly because again the whole biometrics thing. Right? I didn't want to. I mean, I know my voice is out there on YouTube and Anchor and everywhere else, and everything. So they probably have enough sound bites that they can recreate my voice and just make it sound completely like me. I just don't like talking to an AI. I don't know. I don't like when I have to call up different companies and I try to always get a person, I already deal with AI enough, so I don't embrace it on my computer. But you use Cortana all the time?
I use Cortana. It helps me find my files. It helps me do all my stuff for me whenever I need something.
You'll have to test out to see how accurate Cortana is to help you find something.
Well, it's helped me so many times, so it hasn't let me wrong. Yeah. Hasn't let me wrong yet. It helps me find all my applications, even browser stuff.
So this is just like an extension. So now they can do OneDrive for business and SharePoint. So two different apps.
I guess so. I guess that they're starting to embed more stuff into it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, for those who like to do voice. Yeah,
and
it's
also
for, enterprise users.
Yeah, definitely. And to the next topic is improved graphic settings for multiple GPUs. I know you're very good on graphics cards, Joe. You like this a lot of the heavy stuff on this. So what do you think about this feature?
Gosh, I don't know if this is more for people who do, if they use their GPUs for research, where you're, I can't remember what that's called at the moment, but
like
where you have
beta testing or stuff.
No, more like where you have your computer doing calculations to find the DNA structure of a virus or something,
you're talking about those scientists.
Yeah, I guess it was for this. It's maybe it's helping give more. Like you were saying previously, you could only do a high performance or power saving. Gosh, I don't know. I guess now you can do a higher priority or just a little bit more specific. So yeah, guys, you got to go into that to figure that out. But I use NVIDIA, so it's usually their control settings have a lot of different options. But now Microsoft is allowing you to do something on their end instead of having to go into maybe NVIDIA or AMD side.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we got 2 more left, Joe. Architecture in the task manager. What do you think about this? Because now it's going to be able to tell us if it's a 64-bit or a 32-bit application. Do you think this is very helpful for the people?
I think it is always super helpful for someone. I'm not sure who.
I know for me it does.
Okay, tell me.
It helps me to troubleshoot more if it's a 32 application or a 64, because sometimes 32-bit applications do not work on 64 and vice versa. And we definitely know that a 64 does not work on a 32-bit.
So this is to help you figure out that you accidentally installed the wrong thing.
Correct.
Because you're like, why isn't this working? I installed it. I clicked the right thing on the website and it goes to the wrong place.
13 years of this, and I've seen 32-bit applications run on 64, and they don't work. You have to uninstall it and install the 64-bit. So it does help out if you understand the structure of it.
No, and this is like Johnny come lately. It's like, why wasn't this there long time ago when we went from 32-bit to 64-bit?
Yeah, because 32 and 64 have been around for a long time. But they just because 64 was mainly for businesses and corporations, but now 64-bit became a standard for like everybody, because you could install more than 4 gigs of RAM. Because when you have 32 was only maxed at 4 gigs. Now 64 you could do up to like 512 and up and beyond.
Yeah, I think the first time that I heard about 64-bit, I jumped at it. I'm like, yay! Why do I want to be at 32-bit? I always want a bigger number.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's nice. It's nice to know, again, the troubleshooting, like, because you'll need this, right, guys? You'll need this because Microsoft's troubleshooter won't be much help to you. So now you have to use their other features to figure out what to uninstall or what to install.
Definitely. And now going on to the next one is improved sound device settings. What do you think? Do you think this is a good helpful feature that is going to actually tell us what is our default device automatically? Like, looking at this page, do you think it's going to be beneficial to everybody or only certain people?
It might be, but I got to tell you that I've, you and I, with dealing with our audio issues in the past, even though Microsoft says that one of these are my default devices, it doesn't actually use it as the default device. My sound will come through on some other device, and Microsoft is like behind the times. It doesn't. So if it's more accurate than what it currently is, I'm all for it. I'll be glad, because otherwise, when I go into sound settings right now for Microsoft, if I go into the actual, like, you go into Windows and you type in like S for settings and you go in there, it's not much help. I have to go down to the bottom where I right click on the microphone, and then I can go in there under sounds and then look into more details for playback and recording and mess around there for another like 20 minutes to figure out what's going on. But the actual like default in managed sound devices hasn't been much help to me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure if you've ever had the part where it's like it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's better.
I'm gonna do a quick review at the bottom to the next sections. It's just this Defrag Enhancements, which optimizes drive page gains on an advanced view checkbox that shows hidden volumes and more current statuses, details that will tell you why you can't defrag specific drives. Now it gives you that option, Joe. You think that's gonna be good? It's gonna be able to tell you now why it can't defrag it.
Yeah, definitely, because, yeah, I mean, more information, and I think it goes along similar lines of what where there's some files you can't delete. I hope it also is addressing stuff like that, where you're trying to delete something, you have to click like skip all, skip, like when you try, you know what I'm saying? When you're trying to like delete, and then it's like this file can't be deleted, and you have to skip it to delete as much as you can delete or whatever. Yeah, more information will just help the public be able to deal with their devices more, and that's awesome.
This next one is going to be a pretty brief one. It's going to change refresh rate in settings. You can now change your display refresh rate in your settings interface rather than visiting the classic control panel. You think that's a very helpful deal, Joe?
Where do they do that?
It's under settings, system, display, and advanced display settings. Not sure.
No, is this where this is where it used to be,
or going to be?
Oh, okay, I know what you mean. Because like before, you had to click advanced display settings, and then you had to click display adapter properties for display, and then you had to go to monitor, and then you click your screen refresh rate, and then you could switch it to whatever.
So yeah,
this is good for people who don't want to do all those steps. Yes, less steps better.
next thing is they're getting rid of Microsoft Edge and they're using the new Chromium based version automatically coming on Windows default because of all that issues that they've had with the Microsoft Edge. So do you think that's going to be a better idea, Joe?
I apologize. I was distracted. One of our viewers was talking about he has auto start for his VPN software. So yeah, that is the Windows startup. So yeah, makes sense. Refresh my memory
about the old Edge browser getting removed and replaced with the Chromium based version of Edge.
Interesting.
Remember we talked about this previously before about Chromium installed on the computer by default. We talked about this, I think, in one of our previous podcasts.
What was it? Why do they want to remove it? Because it's not secure, or it's just slow, or
one, it had so many issues with applications, and it was mainly just for reading text and stuff like that. Now they have using Chromium as a third-party app that's being integrated into Windows.
Well, I guess they created it so they can bring it back into the box they want. Maybe there's not that many people using it. I'd rather them just not like advertise it and let people still use it. You know? So I'm wondering if it's just I'm not wondering. Oh, maybe that is what it is. Okay, they've removed it. Basically, it might still be able to be used. Maybe. But then they're just not going to advertise it. They're not going to say, hey, they're not going to have it pre-installed on your computer.
Correct.
And so you have to like either find some legacy file somewhere, or the only ones that still have it can be using it for a while.
Well, the next
I'm hoping so, because somebody really might like that browser, and if they want to hold on to that browser a little longer, I don't see the problem with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go through the next quick topics real quick, Joe.
Sure.
Because we've already been here about an hour and 17 minutes. So we're gonna go real quick. It's update touch keyboard. Microsoft has tweaked the touch keyboard design with a new key press animation and sound. It's also getting built-in emoji search. We also have the cursor movement using the spacebar. The update touch keyboard will let you move the cursor with the spacebar. Touch the spacebar with your finger and slide your finger left, right, up, and down to move the text entry cursor around. We also have the theme-aware app splash screen. For apps that support theme-aware splash screens, you'll know that now see a splash screen that matches your default app mode when you launch the app. So instead of seeing a blue splash screen, for example, you'll see a white or black splash screen behind the app's icon. You want to read the other ones, Joe?
Sure. A new initial setup experience. Microsoft is testing a new custom your device page in the initial PC setup experience. It will ask you what you plan on using your PC for, like options like gaming, Facebook, schoolwork, and business, and aid in customizing your device given your intended usage. Also, there is search for default apps and settings. The settings to apps to default apps screen now has a search box that makes it easier to search files, protocols, and apps. And also, they're pushing Edge in settings. Microsoft exploring a feature that nags you to make Edge your default browser in settings.
On the next ones, we have changes for the system administrators, which that's part where I messed with this area here. It is considered the ADMX backup policy for the micro device management, modern device management. I forgot about that. Sorry, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong ever. Modern device management, instead of group policies to manage their devices, Microsoft has enabled 647 new MDM policies across 56 ADMX administrative template files to enable commercial customers to configure policies that are also supported through group policies. Here's the list of the whatever it is, etc., etc., etc. Also, you could reset your AppX packages from PowerShell. You can now reset installed AppX packages from the PowerShell command line with the reset-apx AppX package. You could already reset an installed AppX package of UWP app data from settings app. But now you can also do it from the command line.
That's
also
good.
You have the new management options for default file association. Microsoft now offers a new way for enterprises to modify file association using group policies.
So yeah, a lot of good updates, and again, we already talked about how Microsoft's making it so there's going to be a flashy screen, basically advertising like images of what they're doing to actually make their system better, which is awesome. And look forward to all these updates. It looks like they're going to do like basically 2 updates per year.
Correct. That's what it's been looking like. I did not know that, but now I do. So, do you have any?
Yeah, no, I just no. It's been pretty entertaining to go through all these features and figure out. Like I'm rediscovering what my computer can do, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And well, guys, this is gonna be the end of the podcast. We gotta get going. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe, guys. We're here to support you guys, give you all the information. Do you have anything else you want to say to the audience before we go ahead and head out, Joe?
No, just follow us on whatever platforms you want. Stay safe, especially in the United States. We're dealing with like extreme cold and everything. So stay safe and enjoy your podcasts.
Definitely. Peace out.
Bye.